Generation X. In general terms, those born between 1965 and 1980. Latchkey kids. Independent. Existentialism. Modern philosophy focusing on personal experience, human ability, and responsibility in an otherwise meaningless universe. We're the cause. This is the effect. We're the Gen Existentialists. Welcome into another episode of the Gen Existentialists. My name is Scott.
And I'm Bunny.
And we're here to talk with you for a while about all manner of weird things from a Gen X point of view. We have Mega Wheel the Magnificent, a wheel upon which we have placed over 500 topics, and we will spin it, and whatever comes up at random, that is what we will talk to you about today. Are you ready to give it a spin?
Oh, yeah.
Let's give it a spin, and we are spinning Mega Wheel the Magnificent. And as you can imagine, with over 500 topics, it can take a little while for it to slow down and come to an answer, and we've got it. This is kind of a lengthy topic, but it's a good one. If you knew that in 1 year you would die suddenly, would you change anything about the way you are now living, and why? Now, I find the question a little bit funny, because if you know that in 1 year you're going to die suddenly, that's kind of a weird way to look at it, because if you know in 1 year you're going to die, it ain't going to be sudden. You're going to know that it's coming. It's like giving you an expiration date.
Well, it's nice because you're not going to malinger in the hospital then, for 6 months.
Fair. So, yeah, you're going to die in 1 year, but for 10 of it, you're going to be in a coma.
Well, I look at it as like, oh, you're just going to have a massive brain bleed and just be gone.
Just fall out.
Yeah.
So in 1 year, you're going to die. We have a 1 year expiration date. Mm-hmm. Would you change anything about the way you're living, and why?
Yeah, I would. I'd be a little more free flowing with the money.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm. My wife will tell you I'm a stingy guy. Sometimes
you're frugal.
I'm frugal. Yeah, that's the nice way of putting it. Yeah, I'm frugal. I'd probably stop working in general, and I would spend a lot more time with my wife. I'd spend a lot more time with my friends. I would travel a little more. I'd go do some things that I've always wanted to do. And I would probably try all sorts of dangerous things that I would never abuse my body with or anything.
Would that be simply because you know that you've got till that 1 year point?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'd be shooting heroin into my eyeball. No, just anything crazy that you've always wanted to try, but you're like, well, I can't do that because I'll get addicted. I can't do that because I might kill myself. I can't do that because I could break the bank and lose all my money. Well, it doesn't matter because you're going to be dead anyway in a year. So, and I don't have children. Unfortunately, everyone, with the exception of some very remote extended family, are gone. So I have nothing to leave anything to other than my wife. So if we're out having fun together, making memories, that's all that matters, right?
I think that's kind of my point of view too. I don't know that I would go to the same extent. I wouldn't change anything specifically about how I'm living, but I would be a little bit more free with things. I would buy the new bass that I want. I would do things like that. I would spend more time here in the studio, not only writing and demoing songs, but actually taking, some of my newer poetry that hasn't been published and, doing voice recordings of it. Something that I can just put out there and say, I was here, that kind of thing. It's been one of my things, not that I don't want to be a star or anything, but just as an artist, something that shows I contributed somehow is one of those things. So if I had an expiration date, that would be the bigger thing, like trying to make sure that every ounce of creativity I've got, I've wrung it out of that last year that I have.
Yeah, I think I would probably do some sort of audio recording, or at least write a very lengthy letter to everyone that I wanted to say something to, after I was gone. And it'd be one of those creepy things where you could put it online and have them send an email like 4 years from now, like when they've completely forgotten you exist. And it's like, oh, look.
How did I get an email from Bunny?
Yeah,
He's been
right.
dead for 3 years.
Exactly. But just just let people know what you think and how life was better with them in it,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, totally get that. and see, I would title the email, greetings from beyond the grave.
That's right.
Something to like just freak
Help
people
me,
out.
I'm in hell.
You must come and save me.
Exactly. You have to do this crazy ritual to get me
demon,
out of this.
The demon Azeroth has trapped my soul. You can only save me by eating a pound of butter per day for 3 years and saying this ritual chant.
Take your top off.
In the middle of traffic in downtown Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Should we move on to a different topic?
Yeah,
I mean, we can keep beating that down for a while.
That's a bit morbid, so let's move on, shall we?
Morbidity is fun. You have to have a sense of humor about stuff, So we're spinning Mega Wheel of Magnificent, trying to come up with our second topic for this episode. This is going to be a weird one for me, but I'm sure it's going to be an interesting one for you. Do you have vivid dreams?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm lucky enough to be able to lucid dream. So lucid dreaming,
I'm jealous,
lucid dreaming basically means that you realize you're in a dream and you can sort of direct the flow of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it took a long time, a lot of practice, but I've always had vivid dreams to begin with. But it's something that I remember when I was in high school, I used to be able to dream about. This is why I never studied. I used to be able to dream about studying. And I would see like my vocabulary book as an example I use because it's an easy example to use.
Sure.
And we had an English teacher that required us to do a vocabulary test every week. And I could see the vocabulary book in my mind in my sleep and read it and study it. And then the next day I'd go in and all those would be on the test.
Wow.
So I'd already studied it. Now, I'm not saying that's psychic or anything. I flipped through my vocabulary book earlier in the day and I'm recalling it in my mind. I used to have a dream when I really was able to kind of get a handle on how to control a dream. I used to have this anxiety dream all the time, and I think a lot of people have these kind of dreams where they're lost somewhere and they can't seem to get there. I had this dream about a terrible college building, and I never could find my classes. I was always getting lost in the wrong hallways, going to the wrong classes. I'm going to fail these classes because I'm never there. I've only attended this math class once the semester because I can't find it, and I'm getting stuck in stairwells that go nowhere and stuff. And finally, I just got so sick of this college coming up in my dream that I planted a bunch of explosives and I blew the building up, Oklahoma City style.
Damn.
Now, no one was in it, theoretically, but I took great pleasure in pushing the plunger and blowing that building to bits, and I've never dreamt about it since. Because that's the way you deal with an insect. You smash it. No, that's the way you deal with a mental block that makes you crazy. And that was one of those. My wife has recurring dreams for her where she's driving, but then the next thing you know, she's in the back seat and no one's driving, and the car's just careening down the highway at high speed. Or she'll have dreams where she's trying to get to a plane and can't get through TSA, something's wrong, there's lines, and I'm going to miss my flight. I think that's a lot of people have those kind of dreams where it's a standard anxiety dream. That I'm going to be late for work. I showed up to school in my underpants. That's the one they always do on sitcoms.
Sure.
Like, oh, no, I'm in my underpants during a test. So, vivid dreams, can control them, has been very helpful to be able to, you don't lucid dream. I don't lucid dream every night. It's every once in a while I kind of get in the driver's seat.
Right.
And it's been nice because I can spend time with my parents.
Yeah.
Having memories of things that we did, and I'm able to just be there with them and enjoy them consciously.
Right.
You know, I can conjure up friends. I can conjure up pets. I'm really bad about, sorry, I'm kind of monopolizing this one.
No, you're good. But, you're good. It's interesting.
A lot of people always go on and on about, oh, I fly and I do all these crazy things. I swim like a fish and I have sex with beautiful models and da-da-da-da-da. I'm such a Capricorn. I'm such an earthbound creature that I've never dreamt of flying like a superhero. Even lucid dreaming, I can't bring myself to do it.
Right.
Now I have terrific nightmares, you know, where I will be crawling through streets filled with human bones because of all the destruction. I've been eaten by zombies. I've fought, you know, serial killers.
Yeah.
I've been killed multiple times in my dreams, you know, stuff like that. I have those kind of dreams, but I don't have any of these fantastic. I don't have sex with Susie from Susie and the Banshees. You know, I don't, you know, have these, I'm a wild rock star. My dreams are very grounded in reality. They're goofy things like having just vivid memories of when me and my wife went on a road trip 20-some years ago. I'll remember and see and smell it all. Or, you know, something that happened when I was little.
Right.
So it's kind of a shame, and I've tried with the whole controlling dreams. I just can't push myself to do anything more than I can jump really high. If I want to do something like that, you know, like kind of like you're running on the moon and you're kind of bouncing around. I can do stuff like that, but I don't fly. I don't swim. I don't karate chop people. I don't get revenge in my dreams.
No lasers coming out of your eyes.
No, there's no fabulous sex with piles of women. You know, I should really work on my dream discipline.
Yeah, I mean, if you can lucid dream, there's
I know, and all I do is have memories that I want to have in my dreams. I'm so bound by nostalgia.
Yeah,
I think is part of the problem, that I will spend my dreams running around in the Florence Mall at Swiss Colony at Christmas time and trying out all the samples and being there with my grandfather who's been gone for decades.
Yeah.
You know, just dumb things like that. I can dream
Why
about.
Why is that dumb? That's not dumb at all.
I can dream about standing outside the tinderbox. Do you remember that
place?
Yeah,
absolutely.
And smelling all the pipe tobacco.
Yep.
And hanging out with friends and old girlfriends and pets, you know, that I haven't seen, and just weird stuff like that. So yeah, dreams.
So for me, background before I answer the question of do I have vivid dreams. We've talked about this before. When I was maybe 3 or 4 years old, I remember sitting on my bed in our house, you know, me and my parents lived in, and I remember my mind turning on. It was like a movie screen coming on and being able to picture things in my head that weren't actually happening that I was seeing with my eyes.
That's when you got your soul.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, whatever you want to call it. But I remember that so vividly and being able to entertain myself in my head. And it helped, like in boring classes, in boring work situations, to be able to stand at the counter of the store I worked at between 9 and 10 o'clock when usually no customers were in there. There's music playing, but I finished studying, and I'm just sitting there being able to go into my head and tell a story there and do things there and picture them perfectly, vividly, every detail. And I can still do that. That's how I write a lot of the times. I'm just narrating the story that's going on in my head sometimes when I write a poem or lyrics or something. So I've got that aspect to me. But do I have vivid dreams? No, I don't dream. Now, my wife will contend that sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'm muttering things. I've said stuff to her like sleep talking. So I probably do have dreams, but when I fall asleep at night and then wake up in the morning, it's a completely blank space, and I know why. When I was about 5 years old, I had a nightmare. literally scared me senseless. I remember running into my parents' room screaming. And the nightmare was this. When I was a young kid, we lived in a small town. We had a detached garage that opened up onto an alley. And the garage was just a metal building. And we had one car, a green Maverick. And my dad worked nights. I used to go with my mom to the store, and we would come back, and I would, I'm a little kid, so I couldn't carry much, but I would help her carry stuff in. And in the nightmare, I had gone back to the garage to get one last thing. And the door slammed shut. The, personnel door, the person door on the side, slammed shut. And then I saw eyes. And it was this green demon that looked, ironically now looking back, a lot like the Green Goblin from Spider-Man, from the old cartoons. But sharper teeth, literally a demon. And it came after me. And that's when I woke up screaming, absolutely freaking terrified. Had the thing, ran into my parents' room. I'm just apoplectic with blah. And I remember thinking to myself, turn the camera off. When you're asleep, don't let that happen again. I don't want to feel that way. And to this day, and I'm 50, so 45 years, I don't remember anything when I sleep. It is literally a blank space. There's impressive. Nothing there. And I have tried. I have tried at the request of my wife, try to open yourself back up, and I haven't been able to. I go to sleep. Okay. It's dead time. I'm out. I don't know what happens.
See, and sometimes that's something that I think some people would find desirable even.
I'm sure.
People that have bad dreams a lot, or people that just feel like they never get any rest at night.
Yeah.
It would be nice to just turn off.
Yeah.
And turn back on when you're recharged.
I literally, not to bring up Star Wars again, but it's like a recurring theme in my life. When I fall asleep, it's like hitting the button on the back of C-3PO's neck. I'm out. Hit the switch again. I wake up. I'm back on. Everything else is just blank.
Impressive.
Yeah. But again, like I said, my wife has said, you were muttering, talking in your sleep. Apparently once I woke her up and pointed at our closet and said, that's where the cat museum should go. And then fell back asleep.
All right.
Which just makes you really want to know, what the hell was I dreaming where I thought the closet would be a good cat museum?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So there's a part of me that wants to know. There's a part of me that also goes, it's probably better that we don't.
Okay.
But yeah, vivid dreams for me, no. I got none of that. But, for someone like you that can lucid dream, I find that tantalizing. If I could do that, then that would be just incredibly entertaining.
Well, something you might want to try if you want to try to do it. I think it'd be weird to try to do it if you don't remember any dreams or do anything. Yeah. But what I try to tell people who are interested in it, if you want to try to train your mind, is to lie in your bed and find a focal point in your room. What I recommend is most people have art in the room or something.
Yeah.
Is to find a piece of that art, whether if it's a movie poster, a music poster or something, find one letter in the stylized title of that. Or if it's floral or something, pick one flower out in that picture and focus on it and be able to close your eyes and see that point in your room. And that's kind of like an anchor. So when it's time for you to want to get out, that's what you'll think of.
Sure.
But focus on that and keep it in your mind as you fall asleep.
Interesting.
And then try to see that in your dream. Bring yourself to where you are now in bed looking at whatever that is. And that might be all you do.
Use it as a lifeline to get back.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, you'll find ways in and out once you get more used to it. But I think that's something, it's a way to visualize. It's a way to take control over your mind and say, no, I don't want to dream about cat museums in my closet. I want to see the poster that's right in front of me, but I'm unconscious. But I want to see it like I'm sitting in bed.
See,
and you will.
Like, I mean, my vivid movie screen mind, for like the last 2 minutes as we're talking about this stuff, in my mind, I'm seeing the video for Dream Warriors by Dokken, and that's the backing music that's been going on in my head.
All right.
As we've been having the last couple minutes of this discussion.
Yeah, yeah. The whole Nightmare on Elm Street series is kind of interesting when it comes to lucid dreaming, and I mean that's essentially what that old Dream Warriors movie was about.
Sure. Yeah.
Was becoming more able to control your dreams.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so it might just be something you might want to try, and that's for the listeners out there too. It's not scary. You probably find it remarkably boring, actually, to just focus on, a vase in your room or something, or a trophy or something that you've got in your room that you see from your bed, and just look at it in your mind when you're asleep.
A good challenge for listeners: either go to the Facebook page for Morning Pizza Radio and send us a message for the Gen Existentialists, or they can email us at
morningpizzaradio@proton.me
and tell us about your favorite dream, or your favorite nightmare that you've ever had.
The more salacious, the better. Just joking.
As always, the more titillating and tantalizing, the better. The more chance that we'll talk about it here on the show.
That's true.
That about wraps it up for this episode. My name is Scott.
And I'm Bunny.
Thanks for joining us. We hope to have you with us again. This has been the Gen Existentialists. Have a good one.